Hello 108 students, Mr. McHugh back here, working on page 2 of our section 3.1. We're getting used to finding, working with linear equations, and we're going to focus on objective 5 is finding the x and y intercepts. If you're given an equation of a linear line, again you're noticing it's got two variables, the x term plus the y term equals a constant, and that is the standard form. Okay, now I'm showing an illustrative example up here of 0, 3 would be the example of the y-intercept. Notice the value of x. X has to be 0. So here you are starting at the origin, go up, you don't move anywhere on the x, so that's a 0 by default. You go up 1, 2, 3, that ordered pair is 0, 3. Look at the x-intercept. This is just an illustration here. 5, 0 would be starting from the origin, 5 over on the x, nothing going up or down on the y, so you're right there on the x-intercept at 5, 0. Again, notice the y value is 0. Okay, now when we find the x-intercept and y-intercept, the strategy is pretty simple. You are going to choose and let y equal 0, and then you're going to solve for x, and that will produce the ordered pair for the x-intercept. When you let x equals 0 and solve for the other variable y, you will have the y-intercepts. Okay, now what I did here real quick was I took the example from the previous page, 2x plus 3y, and asked you to find the x and y intercepts, so if you wanted to graph them, you could. Now, last video they had you very awkward giving you a value of x and finding the y. We're not going to do that, so those are basically just warm-up exercises. This is more practical. So we are going to find the x-intercept here first, and we are going to choose to let y equal 0. So everybody with me? You pick that value, substitute it into the equation, and evaluate for the x-coordinate. Okay, so you can see the algebra going here real quick. You get 2x equals 6, divide by 2, x equals 3, that's the x-coordinate, producing the ordered pair 3, 0. Okay, now graphing that real quick, come up here, you'd be right here, 3 on the x, 0 on the y, and you've got the x-intercept. Take the same concept, but now to find the y-intercept, you're going to choose to let x equal 0. That's all you got to remember. You plug it up into the linear equation, standard form. X is 0, that term cancels out, solve for y, 3y equals 6, divide by 3 on both sides, and lo and behold, you find the y-coordinate is 2. The ordered pair you found was 0, you chose it for x, you found the y-coordinate was 2, and the ordered pair is 0, 2. Where do you graph that at? Start at the origin, 0, 0. If I forgot to mention that, that's the origin. So 0 on the x tells you not to move horizontally, 2 on the y goes up vertically, positive, and there you go. If you had to graph them, 0, 2, 3, 0, and you'd be in good shape. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. Remember that is always a way to graph a linear equation is to find the x and y intercepts. We're going to find other methods too as we go along this chapter. Okay, now objective number 6 here is dealing with horizontal, vertical lines and lines that go through the origins. Now, as you can notice, most of these lines, this one up here, sorry, let me go back here, there's some slope to these two lines, and actually the way I drew these, they look parallel, but I'm jumping ahead here, so I don't want to confuse you too much. But notice they've got some kind of slope, like going up a mountain. And so what happens if you drew a horizontal line or a vertical line? Okay, what would that turn out to be? And so what you're going to do here is they're going to say graph y equals 2. Now remember, they say graph. This throws you off a little bit. This does not look like anything like the standard form. Okay, and what I try to tell students, there's two exceptions, these horizontal lines and vertical lines. The easiest way to graph these, this is not mentioned in the book, but this is my technique. It says y equals 2, and they tell you to graph it, where you don't have hardly anything to go on. So all you got is y equals 2 is you find the 2 on the y-axis. Here's the y-axis. Here's 2. You put a dot. Okay, that's your anchor point. Now, if you follow this guideline, draw a line, horizontal line in this case, through the point and perpendicular to the axis. Okay, so here's your point. Here's the y-axis. Draw perpendicular means it forms 90 degrees. So I would draw a horizontal line. And that's all you have to do. Okay, now, look at example 4. They say draw the line when x x equals -1. Now, don't be confused thinking this is dealing with like a solution. They want you to graph. They want you to draw a line. Okay, it's a special case. Think about this. X equals -1. Find it on the x-axis. Here's the origin. Here's 0. There's -1. And now you turn around, follow the second point. Draw a vertical line, or just draw a line through the point perpendicular to the axis. If you think about that, draw it perpendicular through the axis. Perpendicular means forms a 90 degrees. That would force you to draw a vertical line. And there you go. That's the line for x equals -1. Okay, hey, we have taken care of page 2. I'm going to stop, and I will see you for page 3 to continue on. Okay, take care. Bye.